What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again. And this is where we at. So we got brother Anton Daniels and the crew in the broadcast room, and this is the situation here: the war on men. Is there a war on men by black women, or or what's going on? You know, and these are things that we're trying to figure out definitely in today's society because we've seen women, definitely our black women, saying, scream to high heaven that they don't need us for decades now. They treat us any kind of way and things like that. And then, but they they want they want husband material out here. They want men to step up and keep providing and protecting like men traditionally do, but it seems that they don't want to do things that wives do. But listen, look, let's dive off into this. Let's go here now. Let's see what's going on. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Check this out. This is about 2 minutes.
Like, okay, Diddy and Tory, right?
Right.
Anytime stuff like that happen, it's like, oh, it's a war on black men. When their dirty deeds catch up to them, they say it's a war on black men. But the part that confuses me is that this war is not being waged by black women. But that's the way it's set up. The way that they would have it, have you perceive it, is that this war on black men is waged by black women.
And it's not.
It's not. But the war on black men has always been raised by the white society. White women seeing our sexual prowess, but using it like Carol Bryant did to be able to get us killed.
Yeah.
Mass incarceration, school to prison pipeline. Black women don't have anything to do with that. They actually suffer under the same conditions. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
You get ready to go out, getting dressed, you and the homies, couple pre-games,
Right.
get in the car, y'all finna hit the spot.
Okay.
Has it ever crossed your mind like, man, I hope these bitches don't ruin them night?
No.
Never.
Never.
Ever. It's never crossed your mind that a woman could ruin your night. Ever. If anything, hopefully I can bag me a woman and advance the night.
Right.
Enhance the night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Women, whether they're going to the grocery store, going to class, going to the club, the thought has to always be in the back of their mind that a nigga will ruin their night. If they turn a nigga down, violence could ensue.
Right.
Physical violence or verbal assault. Right? Nigga, first thing a nigga gonna do, stupid, ugly bitch.
Yeah.
You ain't that fine anyway.
But you tried to holler.
Yeah. And we have to acknowledge the privileges that we have as a man, that we don't have to worry about like sexual harassment. Unfortunately, rape, like those aren't things we think about. Women go to the club. You ain't nobody trying to roofie you, nigga.
Yeah.
And take advantage of you. If you go in the club right now and it was me and you, let's say me and you, we go to the club. We walk in that bitch, nothing but women.
Right.
We're gonna be like, shit.
Let's do it.
Hey,
Let's do it.
hey.
It's a good night.
First of all, is this for the public?
Yeah. How we get here?
How do we get this lucky?
Yeah.
There's nothing but women here. If a woman if a woman and her homegirl walk in the club is nothing but men, that's a dangerous situation for them to be in.
There's finally a better way. It's called.
Hold on, sorry guys. Yeah, it's commercials. It is what it is.
This is going viral.
Okay, so before they dive off into it, get down in the comments. Let me know what you thought about what the gentleman said off the grits and eggs and things like that. And I kind of get it because I had a great aunt, a great aunt, and this was way back in the day. And this is the story within my family that she was in. This was way back in the day. She went out and things like that, and somebody put something in her drink, and the thing of this is that after that point she was really never the same. We took care of her, and the family took care of her, the rest of her life and stuff like that. She was never the same after that night, and eventually she ended up in a nursing home and stuff like that, and Yeah, the family collectively, we took care of her, things like that, until the day she passed away. But I kind of get what he was saying about when women go out in public spaces, and this is the part of having the covering of a man. You having a boyfriend, or well, definitely a husband, which is supposed to be. And the covering is supposed to be there to make sure that you get the proper protection as a woman on this planet when you're dealing with, other men. Now, as men, we're not saying that there are not men on this planet that are not treacherous, devious, evil human beings. Just like, they're evil human beings, in the women culture too, as well. But, the thing of this is that a lot of women are going to be more aware of the male aspect in that particular situation, because a lot of women can't overpower men like that, because we're built different. So let's keep going now. Let's see what's going on here on the panel. uh yeah, quarters, nickels, and dimes. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Let's go here now.
And a lot of women are hopping on the bandwagon. Um, I have my own personal thoughts on it, but I'm not going to share my thoughts on this one. I would like for you guys to have your conversation. The question is there a war on black men from women? Anybody can jump in.
So what he said, he has some points about when women go out, their mindset is not like ours is. We're not going out thinking that a woman's gonna mess up. I agree with him on that. But that doesn't mean that it's not no micro war that's going on amongst like the feminist type black women and black men. I can't say that's true. There is a little mini war with that. But what he said, I mean, he really didn't say no lie, really.
And like I said, black women are the new white men. Okay. And what I mean by that is they use black women to carry out these acts on black men from things that you guys know that is wrong. Y'all know that family court is in y'all favor. So you guys play that game because you guys are the victors of it. You guys know that child support, government assistance is in y'all favor because are things that can harm black men. Now, with that being said, everything he named was right, but it was also physical. We have to worry about being in the room with a woman and her going to the police and say we did something. They know that they can get us like with the system. So they worry about us physically. Is that a true thing? Absolutely.
Right.
But a woman Daisy can walk into her police station right now and say 2K touched her, 2K will be tried, I will be arrested, and I have to prove to the courts that I didn't do it. That's the war that we fighting that he just forgetting all about. So when it comes down to it, like we are at war. We are at war. And I can tell you where it started, but I'm not even for the divot back into that. That's that.
Nah, no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say he definitely sound like he's simping. Cause yeah, women go out butt naked, ain't worried about getting raped. If they was, they wouldn't go out the way they go out, getting drunk as hell, letting boys buy them drinks all at the bar. And the thing is, like 2K was saying, it ain't, that's just physical, and that's the shit that women scream, oh, I get raped. Man, that shit is not a big statistic like they talk about, but they always victim blame that shit. But the mental.
Our wholesale partners rely.
Hold on. Jesus, man, they are giving me commercials on this joint.
Niggas out all day long, whether you're online, in your face, they hug niggas out. And it's definitely a mental black war. I don't deal with it, but I see it all day long. At my job, if you talk to some women for more than 5 minutes about a topic, let you have a disagreement, it's a wrap. And you will see it.
Yeah, I mean, what the brother just said, when you're on these jobs and things like that, you're at work, it's certain topics that you don't need to talk about. You know, I'm just being honest. It's just certain things that you don't need to talk about at all. You know, to keep it's not just necessarily keeping your sanity, but it's also truly protection. Definitely in today's climate. Yeah, it's certain things that you don't need to talk about at work with women. Period.
Sexual harassment, bro.
I do believe some of it I agree with, of course. I guess in a different context because yes, I do believe that all of this stuff, and that's the whole race black white thing, the man woman thing. I do believe that comes from the top down from the white liberal, all of it. So, but I also believe that I guess we're not smart enough because we keep falling for it, no matter what the agenda is. They come in and it gets psyop, and it's always the women. At this point, it's the women that's actually falling for it. They tap into the emotions with the men, Me Too movements, just everything. Women, they do go. It, I guess depends because I do worry about certain things, but I don't go certain places by myself anymore. But yes, there are women I can't imagine that they worried about getting raped or anything because of the way they carry themselves, the way they sexualizing themselves. I've seen young girls all on just on the floor, just a mess. I've been to Cinco de Mayo. I'm walking through a whole, and that's like everybody international. And then I get to this one section where this black club at on the block, and they are literally. I was so embarrassed. They was on the ground in the middle of the street, and they looked like wild animals, literally standing out. It was embarrassing. So I can't imagine they worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, and then don't forget they still have the protection of men. There's no women that protects men because nobody calls out the injustice that carries on. Nobody. I have never seen a group of women outside of child support court fighting or helping a dude trying to get his child because the mother was bitter. You guys know it take place, but choose to stay silent. Daisy, you looking shocked. Am I wrong? You don't got any brothers that's wrongfully on child support? What have you done about it, Daisy?
No, I have one brother. Well, my brothers are not on child support. Let me just say
I'm
that.
saying, you know somebody.
Men that are on child support, I don't know any men that were on child support that really was taking care of their kids. So I might be a little bit biased.
I can definitely vouch and say that I am a huge advocate for men not being on child support because that's just something I just don't agree with. If you're not with that woman anymore, I don't believe the woman should try to use that man as a benefit for her own needs if that man is being present in that child's life. I know other people may feel differently and stuff like that, but you're trying to use that man to pay your bills, your lights, your gas, and you go pay your nails and you go do your hair and et cetera, and the child don't get its needs. Trust me, I see it way too many times. And a lot of times it's the parents, it's the families that's pushing these women into those situations and making them even more bitter than what they are. But to go back to what we're talking about with the war on black men, I believe that women are at war with themselves. So of course they're going to be at war with the black men. They're at war with themselves first. They have a hard time dealing with themselves, being alone and treating themselves, the way that they need to be treated in order to love, people. So I wholeheartedly believe that they're definitely at war amongst the black men, and then they want to come complain whenever the black men are saying, well, I'm not dealing with you anymore. I want to go with the white women. I want to go with the Asians and the Hispanics and the Latinas and all that. So,
and I don't think it's just necessarily, that the fact that black men are wanting to, just go with another race or anything like that. It's not necessarily that factor. I do agree with what the young lady here just said to a certain degree, black women are at war with themselves because a lot black women in the black community are really out of place out here. They're out of place. They're outside of their nature. They're outside of their mental status and things like that because of the way society has been training them and getting them, in a certain perspective and things like that to, kind of, divide and conquer our community. And it's been going on for the, past 40 years plus. So yeah, it's a lot that of course black women are dealing with mentally, emotionally, and things like that, just because women are emotional, and that also affects their mental status. But it just is what it is though. And it's going to take other women to really bring women to light. But see, the thing of this is it's a fight that's going to need to happen between sane women and insane women. And I'm sorry to tell you that in today's society, a lot of sane women are outnumbered, and sane women are not, the same women that are ladies, they're not going to really do a real fight with insane women, because insane women, they like to get physical. Ladies, real ladies don't like to get physical because it's not in their nature to get physical and throw fists and hands and stuff like that to put people in their places and stuff. It's crazy, but it's true. It's crazy, but it's true. And but that's what it's going to take in order to correct the Jezebel spirit that's rampant amongst, a lot of our black women in the black community.
It's like you really can't, you can't really be mad or upset about it. It's like just
and
really...
Kamaya, it's not just the families. When we were going through our divorce, I had the judges, we had already had our agreements. We didn't need people, we just needed that paperwork done. But the judges were literally trying to convince me to put child support on him. After we already had adamantly said, this is not what we're doing. This is the arrangement we want. Put it on paper, whatever you got to do. And the judge asked me, she said, are you sure? She told me how much I would get, but the amount of kids I had, whoop-de-whoop-whoop, and then looked at me and said, well, if you're sure, because you won't be able to come back. And I said, I'm fine. And, she looked a little taken back, but that's fine. I've never had to worry about it. It's just,
but Nikki,
wow, did y'all just hear what she said about what the judge, was trying to convince her of? Like basically trying to seduce her into, listen, look, you could get X, Y, and Z, and this and that, carry your husband through the ringer, and this and that. Did y'all hear what, Miss Nikki here? Man, wow. And it's not that far-fetched to see how these individuals in the system of child support and things like that actually work, because they gain monetary value off a lot of men paying into the system and things like that, have been for decades now. And this is the point, they want to get a lot of those judges get into those type of fields dealing with the child support system because they know it's profitable. Follow the money. You always need to follow the money. The more you follow the money, you'll figure out the corruption. You'll figure out everything that goes on this planet. Follow the money, good or bad. Follow the money.
Do you know how many women not taking down that deal?
Yeah, the baby mama didn't.
That's why I say black women are the new white men, because now they have y'all are the overseers on the plantation now. It's y'all, they empower black women to keep black men in some type of check. Whether it's calling the police on them, we're gonna beat his ass and hear your side of the story later.
Right.
That's what it is. You guys, black women know this, and they know that we are at a disadvantage. And when they call y'all, they know they coming to y'all rescue, no questions asked.
Right.
So
Right.
And you,
No. Last I saw, it was black women going to jail for black men for taking them in after they broke out of prison. And not only that, y'all talk about child support.
Listen, look, Molly, this is the point here. Molly is talking about what just happened recently with the Louisiana jailbreak situation. Let's just go here now. And I did my report on that on my broadcast and that on my channel and stuff like that. There were women that actually helped those men escape out of that prison in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? It gave them food, rides, all types of amenities and stuff like that. But you have to think about that though. You know what I'm saying? And Molly wants to uphold that situation, which is sad. And this is what we're talking about here in the black community, is that those type of women actually want to help those type of men that are criminals and stuff like that. Now she's trying to come at it from an angle like, from what I've seen, black women are going to jail for black men and stuff like that. Okay, so obviously here, this is the thing. If you're dealing with those type of men that are wrapped up in that type of lifestyle, because a productive man that is actually going to work, having stable lives, buying homes, living life, having 401ks, or either having stock options and stuff like that. A man that has something to lose, he ain't out there in the streets doing a bunch of dumb shit to put his lady in a predicament. So what are we talking about here? Molly talking out the side of her neck. So, from what I've seen, women are going to prison for being. Yeah, so if you choose that type of man that's out there in the streets doing that type of dumb stuff, then what you expect to get? And if you want to ride for that as a woman, then you have every right to do so. Then ride for that. But don't complain about it on the back end. When shit hit the fan and you got to do time. Don't complain about it on the back end.
First off, black people are only 13-14% of the population. We are not the only people on child support. White people are the majority of the people on child support. Why do y'all make child support a black issue? Well, and black women are going to jail for black men. So I mean, it's just the same thing.
That's because the type of man you choosing, like I just said. You're choosing that type of man to deal with. You don't want to deal with the construction worker. He ain't got time to go to jail. He want to build something. You're not dealing with the investment banker at JP Morgan. You're not dealing with the man that, is the welder on the oil rig. So don't give me this attitude or this thought process about, black women going to jail for black men. You going to jail for the scum of black men. What the fuck you expect the rest of the men to do? Acknowledge that shit? Cut the crap out here. Hold on. You expect the real men to acknowledge the fact that these buffoons of women are going to jail for black men when they choosing them type of black men. It's a choice.
And if that is the case, if black women are the new KKK, how do we solve for the problem instead of just saying black women are the new KKK and not coming up with any type of solutions? Because it's easy to always say the same thing, but what's the solution?
Oh my God.
We've been saving, black women have been saving the day. I'm sorry. And sometimes I do have my criticisms towards black women, but it's like, let's live in reality. We can see what we see on the internet and we can have our perception molded, but what do we see when we walk outside?
Not black women saving the day.
These white men and these Hispanic men and some of these other people, they're getting screwed over by child support too.
Yeah, but the thing about it is
she talked about Hispanic men. Listen, look, I work with a lot of Hispanic people that, because I'm in the restaurant game, have been for 20 years, culinary field, things like that. And you know, from my tiny aspect, I'm not saying that, you know, of course there's more to it, but from what I've seen, you know, a lot of the Latin women and stuff like that that actually are Latin women that speak, you know, Spanish, true Spanish, things like that. That's their nature. They treat their men like gold. You know, and I've seen it with my own eyes. They you know, their men come to see them at work and stuff like that, and they work hard in those kitchens. You know, I've seen it with my own eyes. And I don't know what she's talking about. You know, man. All right.
Black women are the ones that's rallying for it, like really hard, especially.
No, they're not.
They are.
White men are on it more. If white men are on it more, and
them
if
black
they make
women
the
on it.
majority of the population on child support, I think it's white women that are rallying to get child support more than black women.
And they pull black women with them.
Exactly.
What are you saying, Molly?
No, because I know black women who either don't want their man on child support or pay the child support so he doesn't go to jail.
That's a super minority.
Y'all
I
just
guarantee
know,
you
y'all
that.
just see things on the internet.
That's a minority.
A super.
You even got other women saying that that's a super minority, because that is true. That's a super minority. There's not that many women that will sit there and pay child support for their man. It's half these 21st century women out here are barely trying to buy a birthday present for a man on his birthday. Are you kidding me? What is she talking about? This is ridiculous out here, and truly buffoonery. It's a damn shame. Half these women are so greedy, that definitely in the black community, because we don't talk about black people right now. Let's just stick to, you know, it is what it is. Half these black women are so greedy and so destructive to, even if they have a dude that, you know, actually would give a damn about them, they would barely buy him a pair of socks on his birthday, because most of these new age women feel like it's egregious for them to have to do anything for a man. Anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, half, not all. All I'm saying is, though, there's a certain segment of women that are leading the charge, and they're overpowering the women that actually may even give a fuck about men. And this is the whole point that we're talking about out here. The women that actually care, you know what I'm saying, they're being overpowered by the women that don't in society, online, in society, period. This is what we're talking about. And that's the reason why it's leading to the war, or what proceeds to be the war on men.
To everybody's life.
I can guarantee you right now.
We complain about child support, but not the fact that the black community don't get married. Y'all have to.
That's black women fault too.
But that's the whole purpose.
That's
though.
black women fault. But it's black men in prison, so maybe they do want to marry y'all, but we got to marry y'all when y'all locked up.
What is she talking about now? What? Listen, look. Why in the hell on wheels are you worried about the men in prison? And then another factor is, listen, look, the majority of black men are not in prison. These women walk around every day with free black men walking past them every day. But because they want to sit around here and not acknowledge the hardworking men, because I guess those men are boring and they're just not exciting and stuff like that. And she's sitting around here talking about black men are locked up in prison. What are you talking about? So you think just all black men are locked up in prison?
So now all black men locked up. Well, that's fucked up.
No. But y'all just black men in the black community are always the victim.
All black men ain't locked
up. And this is why the black community is weak, because the women.
But that's what black women always go to. They say black men locked up and gay. That's some bullshit. It's a lot of good black men out here. Y'all just don't fuck with.
It's a lot
They
of
want to
black
be on
men.
some other.
But
You
y'all
gotta make
all think y'all are good black
$100,000,
men.
be
Y'all all
6
think y'all are
feet
good black
tall, or
men.
y'all with that I ain't 50-50, all that bullshit going on.
But
It ain't every black man ain't locked up.
And that's just real talk, what that brother just said. And I'm gonna tell y'all something too. You know what I'm saying? If we really do some real research about how them people was living in the past, 40, 50 years ago, them black couples in the 60s, civil rights movement, them people were living 50. What the hell you talking about? The women in the house work, you know what I'm saying? They went out and cleaned them white people's floors, all that type of stuff. I'm talking about what was going on back then. They went out and cleaned the floors and stuff like that, woo, or had they little other jobs and stuff like that, and then came home and still cook food after they cooked dinner. But you know what I'm saying, at their job, they still came home, cooked dinner. You know what I'm saying, for their children and her husband. He came home from, you know what I'm saying, the plant or the steel mill, whatever, you know, the jobs that I talked about before that, you know what I'm saying, were lost, you know what I'm saying, amongst the black men. Them people were living 50-50. I don't understand what's going on in society nowadays. When you get in a real marriage and you're coming up from the bottom to the top, it is fucking 50-50. You know, he has to put in, she has to put in order to manifest and make that whole situation grow. You know, I don't understand the lack of wanting to invest in your family. I didn't grow up like that. I don't know. The women in my family invested in the family. The men in my family invested in the family. They worked together in order to, you know what I'm saying, to try to help manifest something so the family could grow, at least, you know, to try to do better. I don't get this new age crap. It's ridiculous.
Expectation on a black man is the reason why there's not a lot of rape, like a lot of marriage. Because
Y'all don't have any expectations for yourselves. That's why y'all think y'all are victims, and that's why y'all think white people are better. Y'all don't expect anything for yourselves.
Black woman,
but that's the whole point.
Y'all will never get ahead because white people exist. That's sorry.
I don't know what black men you talking about.
Anton said,
the ones I'm listening to every day.
Anton said something.
Let me just speak on this real quick because I like what she said. Our people are not worried about getting married, but they are worried about getting child support. It's because that they still want to benefit from a man that they don't want to be with, that they don't like, that they hate.
Why is this only a black issue if black people are the only ones who child support?
They need to stop depending on these men for their resources.
No, they don't. That's what men are for. No. Who do they depend on?
No, listen.
If they don't depend on men for resources, they depend on the women. Then y'all say the women are masculine.
Real quick.
So that's what men are for. Hold on. So that's all men are for? That's all we for? And then you wondering why ain't nobody trying to put you there. You know, now Molly's situation, low key, you know, I've been watching, you know what I'm saying, Anton's channel for a while. So Molly she's a married woman. But you know what I'm saying, for the rest of these chicks out here, no wonder nobody wants to put you on life insurance policies. Because you got some stinking thinking. I mean, your thinking process stinks. Stinks of greed, stinks of lust, stinks of, you know, just using people. And then you wondering why you can't get the proper man's covering from the proper man. And then you have to turn to the trash of men in order to get fake covering. And then once you come out of that daydream, then you're wondering why the real men that actually have something to lose, that has built things and put things in proper perspective, don't want to put you on life insurance policies and your name on house deeds and cars. Man, cut the crap out.
Follow what I'm saying real quick. The purpose of the resource is for the man to marry you. and actually
Right.
stay with you.
Right.
The resources are not there just for any woman that says, oh, I want to shake my ass in front of you and I'll do a little something for you. I'm going to give you head or something like that just to get a resource. The resources of the men are for the women that have value. That's why the women should be getting married with these men, but they're not. What they're doing is they're laying with these men, they're being hoes, and they're going suck their dick, and they're going throw it and pop it for pimp. And then they want to say, oh, I don't like this man anymore. And then they want to go dump them, but they already pregnant. And then they want to have these babies. And then now they want to say, oh, I'm going to go and take you to court. I'm going to do this.
That's only in the Black community. No other race is a baby mama.
They moved on to someone else, and they want to get mad. They want to get bitter because, oh, now they don't want the baby around this man or that woman.
That's not race specific, though.
They all
not a Black woman specific
all
issue.
this stupid mess going on. And then whenever they got friends like me that tell them, hey, you don't need to be putting that man on child support. You need to go ahead and go heal yourself and find you a good freaking husband and cut that junk out and stop being some kind of Jezebel or harlot.
Damn. Yeah, another commercial.
Doing whatever. But no, these women get mad whenever women want to hold them accountable and tell them, hey, you shouldn't have done that to begin with. You should have been right. You should have went married that man. You should have did something with your life. But no, they want to get mad because the man tell them, cover your ass up. Stop shaking. Stop twerking on the internet. Stop doing
Ain't nobody telling these women that, though. Come on.
Man, yeah, they do. And as soon as they tell them chicks talking about, you can't tell me what to wear.
Right. Listen, look. This is where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're gonna end it here because this is, you know, it's a whole crazy scenario. I don't know what Molly's talking about. She's always been the rebellious spirit on, you know, Anton Channel. Excuse me, Anton Channel. Shit. I'm getting tired, I'm tongue tied. She's always been the rebellious chick on Anton Daniels' channel. And listen, look, man, this is just the facts out here that we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? We're having to deal with these women that are talking out the side of their neck and stuff like that. And then they expect men that are, you know, about their business to come along eventually after they had their fun and stuff like that to put their, you know, to put their name on life insurance policies and shit. And it's just not going to happen. Hold on here. It's just not going to happen. And this is the case, you know, so yeah, there is a war on Black men and things like that. And women have been, you know, our Black women have been set up to do this for quite some time. They've been engaging in a war that some know that they're in, and the majority don't even know that they're in. You know, and it just is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say, that, my friends, is the bottom line.